H.R. Giger passed away in 2014, but his work lives on today in a lot of pop culture. The Aliens films, some other stuff, even the survival horror game Scorn, which just came out this year, is entirely based off of the visual style invented by H.R. Giger. This style that Giger named biotechnological is an eerie blending of organic and technological forms, but there's one place this style has never been turned loose, and that's in the worlds of Dungeons & Dragons. That is until today. We're using image-generating artificial intelligence to take the artistry of H.R. Giger, and we're applying it to D&D monsters. Stick around, you're going to want to see this. So here's how this works. At the bottom of the screen, I'll share the prompt I put into the Stable Diffusion AI. This is exactly what I told the AI to draw, and in some cases I colorized the images, made the faces less wonky, or cleaned up random objects that appear in the image using other image editing AI. If I use Photoshop, I'll say so, otherwise everything you're looking at here is just a result of AI algorithms. Let me walk you through my process here because it took some doing to get what I wanted from the AI. A lot of Giger's works are facial close-ups and giant busy walls filling the entire image, so it's resistant to making individual characters and creatures when you use the prompt of H.R. Giger's painting of a blank. For example, this is what happens when you prompt the AI to make an H.R. Giger painting of a beholder. So I just kept getting these kinds of faces, and they're great in their own right, but they aren't really evocative of the kind of art you'd see in a monster manual. Keep that in mind that throughout this video, Giger's style is going to be very pervasive here. What comes out at the end of these prompts are very much Giger creations instead of the recognizable fantasy archetypes we're familiar with, but what we do get instead is sort of disturbing biomechanical mockeries of those archetypes, and I assume that's what you clicked on this video for. For example, this bard in full plate mail is amazing. It turns out that the prompt in full plate armor or in full plate mail will give you quite a few images. This one is an elven archer in full plate mail, and that bow doesn't really make sense. Perhaps it's an energy bow. But otherwise, the sort of elven archer thing does come across. Should also be unsurprising that an artist who specializes in creating images that blur the line between living tissue and dead matter would exceed at creating images of undead. But some of these Giger prompt undead images are genuinely frightening. I love them. Now, what you're seeing here are just pure text prompts. I'm just telling the AI what to make. I'm not giving it any images to start with. You're reading those prompts down at the bottom of the screen. There are some real gems here. I love this Drow hag, and I love some of these undead that it's creating. Some of them have genuine Dungeons & Dragons vibes to them, in spite of the obvious Giger influence. It's always a trip when the monster it's supposed to be shines through the Giger stylings anyway, like this Illithid with its tentacles and round head, although admittedly it does look a bit like a Tusken Sand Raider. Now, obviously, there are some real limitations to the Giger painting of a prompt. So what I ended up doing was trying to find an isolated example of one of his characters or creatures. What I landed on was NECA Xenomorph, which gives the AI a whole bunch of images of this highly detailed toy for adult collectors, and pulling from that and then using an image-to-image prompt instead of simply text-to-image. And what that allows the AI to do is take the official D&D artwork and map a NECA Xenomorph over it. And this stuff looks great. It really looks like these fantasy creatures have been infected by a Xenomorph facehugger, and this is the resulting monster. I had so much success with this, with the image-to-image, that I actually went back and I took some of these official artworks and then I just put in the prompt of Giger painting. And when you go image-to-image, you're given the option of what percentage of the image you want to alter, how far you want to take it into the thing you're trying to change it into. And so you'll see that at the bottom of the screen, 50, 60, 70%. Those are the three I mostly stuck to. If you're seeing a percentage missing, it's because the finished product wasn't interesting or didn't look good or didn't come out right. In some cases, I didn't have great official artwork to work with, like the unicorn and the centaur, but I really wanted to have examples of them, so I found other clean pieces of art that I could use, and, a centaur's a centaur, a unicorn's a unicorn. I don't think you really need the D&D versions to get an idea of what the Giger version of that creature would look like in the D&D universe. I'm not going to run my mouth the entire time you're looking at these pictures, so you got the basic premise. Let's just check out the art for a while. Just to mix it up, let's go back to some of the pure text prompts I did. I had a lot of success with Drow as a prompt. For some reason, Drow come out as Drow. They are definitely wearing some Giger-esque armor, but it still works. They do look a lot like the Dark Eldar of the 40k universe, but there's still something very lithe, very insectile, or at least arachnid, and you get multiple limbs, something very beautiful, very cruel. The essence of Drow really works with the Giger prompt. In some of these cases, you'll see backgrounds behind these characters, and I did Photoshop them into backgrounds that were created with AI, just because they came out plain, and I wanted to see if I could use these Drow images to sort of tell a fantasy story, and sure enough, it really works. Another thing I did was I tried just pure text prompts, no images given, of NECA Xenomorph. So I'd put in the monster, and I put in the word miniature, and then NECA Xenomorph. I want to share a bunch of these with you. The first batch I'm showing you here just sort of look like different types of Xenomorphs. They're just interesting if you like the Xenomorph creature. It's just many different variations of that. But as we go along, you'll see that these look, again, even without a source image provided, more and more like the monster they're supposed to. This is especially true with some of the undead that I provide. One of the ones I put in there is Dracula, another one is Grim Reaper, and you'll see they really do look like Giger interpretations of these classic monsters. I threw in a few funny ones at the end. That Shambling Mound's face is comical. There's also a NECA Xenomorph Leprechaun and a NECA Xenomorph Lawn Gnome. I didn't think to try Halfling. I probably should have. Finishing up, I've got a few more here where I've fed an image. The Duodrone I thought was particularly successful in producing some really interesting, creepy, and Giger-esque creatures. And so I riffed on that one quite a bit. If you've enjoyed these images, they're all going to be up on our Facebook page, the Miniature Mashup Facebook page, and the Miniature Mashup Instagram. I'll also be putting up some images of Giger D&D monsters that didn't make the cut for the video. There's quite a few, and while you're there, why not check out some pictures from some of our projects in the past? There's some interesting stuff we've done with this channel. I'd really like you to check it out. There's all kinds of ways to support this channel, but please like and subscribe. That doesn't cost you anything. Hit the bell. I'll be doing more videos in this vein. I've already got one up. I'm going to put the link for that at the end here. Or check out one of my very funny D&D horror story cartoons. Thanks for watching.